Hi, Run Your Story family. This is Allison Gaillard with Run Your Story, where every story needs to be heard. And what a story with the Mr. Kyle Coffey. Wowzers. His first race, Boston Marathon. Because why not? Wait till you hear how he got into running and why Boston was his first. Absolutely incredible story, incredible athlete, incredible dad, and just so thankful that Dave McDonald introduced us and was like, you have to have Kyle on the podcast. So Dave was right. You're right, Dave. So thank you. Thank you, Kyle, for taking time to sit down with us and to share your story. And can't wait to see what all you do. Super excited for you. And super excited for our Patreon supporters. They have been fueling our podcast for this month. I love our Patreon family members. They are my favorite people. They believe in Run Your Story, not only financially, but with us as a whole. And I love their ideas that they give us and all the things that they talk about. So I love the feedback. And not only do we have it in Messenger, but we also have it to where we chat whenever we're together. We chat about the podcast. And I love that. I love that this community has come alongside and said, we believe in this podcast. We believe in you. And that speaks volumes. So our Patreon supporters, our Patreon family members, I love you. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for believing in Run Your Story and making Run Your Story possible. All right, guys, lace up those running shoes, get ready, get set, and go run with Kyle and his run story. Well, thank you, Kyle, for being here. I'm so excited to get to learn about you and your story. And Kyle, Dave McDonald is the one that said you have to have Kyle on. And as I told you, when Dave says something, I say, okay. So what is your run story?
I guess mine all starts back to maybe 2015, I would say. My brother-in-law, he grew up in Boston, Cambridge area, went to high school, everything. He was down for Christmas one year, and we made a joke about running and stuff like that, and if you would run the Boston Marathon. And so I said, yeah, well, sure, why not? I didn't know anything about running at the time, but I knew that was the end goal for a lot of people. And so I made the joke, didn't think anything of it, and then a few months later he called me, he's like, hey, start training, I got you a number. So
wow.
yeah. So I get to the finish line, and now I'm starting back at the beginning. So I'm in a weird spot. So anyway, my brother-in-law, he made the joke that if you would do it, and I said, yeah, sure, why not? And so fast forward, started training, went couch to marathon, skipped all the in-between basically, and I raised money for the National Braille Press. And what we did was we just earned some money for them to print Braille books for children. So,
whoa, that is so cool. I didn't even know that was an organization.
Yeah, National Braille Press. And with the money that we raised, there's an actual book. It's a Dr. Seuss book. Oh, the Places We'll Go. So there's a little dedication page at the front from all the money we raised for charity. So
stop.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you have a copy of that book?
I do. They sent me one.
Oh,
so it's awesome.
What a treasure.
Yeah, very cool.
So how was it being that you were brand new into running Boston Marathon?
Yeah, it was wild. I wasn't prepared. I had never run before in my life other than sports and stuff like that growing up. But at this point, I was maybe in my late 20s. And like I said, it was a joke. And I never thought it would actually happen. But I also knew that why not? That would be like one race that not many people will ever get to do in their life. And so I jumped on it and started training. And then obviously, looking back now, I needed some more time, obviously. I mean, I did well, but the marathon is like a roller coaster. So the first half, I felt great. Me and my brother-in-law running together, get to the half point, see our family, wave everything, do all that. And then a few miles later, the wheels start to come off. Go from feeling the best you've ever felt to the worst to like, I don't know if I'm going to finish. But obviously, I was always going to finish. But it was tough. I never thought I'd ever run a marathon again after that day.
Okay.
But I did.
You did?
I did. But,
how soon after was that?
So I did that in 2015. I ran the Boston Marathon, and so I started training. I guess it was probably August 2015.
Okay.
And from there, I trained till April 2016, which was the race.
Okay.
After that, I took a break. I ran for a little bit after that, maybe a few months, but I took a break. I had a son, and then a few more years later after that, if he was old enough to where he could be on his own and be able to play with my wife, it wasn't so demanding. I started wanting to get back in shape. And so that all took place in February, maybe 2 years ago.
Wow.
And then that's when I really just wanted to get back in shape. And then I started, from that point, I just started trying to get in shape. And I had the goal, like, okay, the next year I'm going to try to break 40 in Azalea. So I just set a crazy goal at the time. I had a whole year to do it, just get back in shape. And it kept me motivated to get out there and put in the miles and put in the work, because I had a goal that I was working towards versus just doing it, and it held me accountable, I guess. So I did that, and then I just basically jumped straight into like, oh, this one sounded fun. Let me see where I'm at. And I signed up for a few months later, I guess it was the double tunnel run downtown.
Okay.
You know that? Are you familiar with that one? So I just thought, well, I might as well do this while I'm training, because when will you ever get to run through the tunnel?
Sure.
You know? Loved it. And,
Did you really?
Yeah, it was awesome. Like,
okay.
That's what started me into just entering. That whole summer, I just, like, every week I was signing up for 5Ks, whatever, just because I was in love with it. I loved the feeling after all that hard work. And then the feeling of, oh, man, I should accomplish something, you know. So it just motivated me more and more. But the marathon didn't come until, I guess, technically I just ran it back in 2023 in the Mississippi Gulf Coast Marathon.
Wow.
So.
Because I've only done the half. And that's crucial. Like, that's an insane half. Yeah. It's great, the first 12 miles. And then that last mile, you're up.
The bridge?
Yeah.
So we had to go further
yes.
than that.
Yeah. Wow.
So the whole goal for that particular race was to qualify for Boston and go back.
Okay.
Because I want to go back and give Boston another shot, right?
Okay.
So it's been back there. Like, I want to go back and maybe took a piece of me and take it back. Because so that's why I did that one. And, I did qualify.
That's amazing.
I did well, actually. I did a lot better than I was expecting. So
the weather was great for that week. A little sprinkle at the beginning, but then
tough.
It was like, okay, this is good weather.
It was tough, but it was, I think I was prepared. I just went into that race knowing that I got this. I've done the work. I had a goal, and then I had a more extreme goal that I didn't really tell a whole lot of people, but I was trending towards that other goal.
Yeah.
And that morning, I just went with it. And I just,
wow.
Yeah, just good. So I ended up finishing third.
Overall?
Yeah.
Stop.
Third overall.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh.
2:46.26. So I was pretty happy. I'm not going to lie. Especially when the goal was to break 3.
For the record, let me just say this, okay? We came in and we were talking before the podcast about paces. And literally, Kyle, you said, well, okay, I'm okay. And I was like, I don't think that's how this works. And now, okay.
Yeah, well, like we also were talking about, it's kind of hard to talk about yourself. So
that's incredible.
But I'm super happy. That was it all lined up that day, and I went for it. I knew it was possible going in my plan the last few workouts. I knew that I could hold it for a lot faster than I originally had planned.
Wow.
So I figured, why not? I don't usually play it safe, I guess.
Okay.
I do to some extent, but I don't know. I just have a hard time.
You're a risk taker. You go for it.
Slightly. Like, there's other people that risk it like crazy. Just enough risk.
That is
great. But now, hopefully, I'll have a chance to, like I said, redeem myself from that 2016 performance.
So will you go back to Boston?
2025.
2025.
Well, I'll submit my application in September.
Okay.
So hopefully I will. I'll have a buffer, obviously, but after the New York, I submitted for New York and I didn't get in, but I had a 9 or 10 minute buffer there too, and as far as qualifying time, but
I gotcha.
It was still a strict cutoff, so I think I should be fine with Boston, and then see what happens.
Wow.
That's the goal, hopefully.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So obviously you've had some lessons that you've learned from running.
Mm-hmm.
What are a few of those?
So I guess the biggest lessons I've learned is probably just how to be disciplined and stay consistent, and also be mentally tough. Because that's basically the thing that fuels me the most, is being mentally tough, because that's what you really need. I think it's more mental than physical, like a lot of the running especially.
Sure.
And it prepares you for those tough moments, like in whatever race and whatever it is. If you can get through that, you can get through anything, you know? I guess one of the things with the lessons and just running in general is that why I like it so much is that's like the one thing I can control during the day. With everything else going on in your life, I have an almost 7-year-old son, I have a job, my wife has a job, I have family, I have all kinds of things going on. The one thing I can control is running. Like I can control getting out there. It might not always work out at the time I want to, because I have obviously other obligations and stuff like that. But I usually make time. There's been times where I'll go to my son's game and it'll get over at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, and I'll go run at night. But it's all what you want, really. If you want it, you'll do it, you know? And so I think setting goals and certain things like that help you do that kind of stuff. When you really don't want to do it, that's what motivates me. You got to think of the goal. So.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, basically that.
Yeah. Oh, those are great. The mental toughness, 100%, especially when it's hot and humid the way that it's been.
Yeah. It's...
You're like, do I really have to get out today?
So this time of year is just basically survive. That's all I'm doing, is surviving. Keep the mileage up high, survive, maybe not much speed work or many races, but just make it through the summer. And from what I've seen from last summer to the fall of last year was that even though it's tough, and you feel like you might not be getting better in the summer, and it's just so difficult, you're slowing down, whatever it may be, those fall and the winter times, it'll show. It'll show. I promise you it will. As long as you put the work in, it'll get easier. So just survive, basically.
Survive. I love that. We need a t-shirt that says that. Survive the summer.
But everybody's doing it. You know? So
absolutely.
As long as you're doing it, you're good.
Oh, that's so good. So you've talked about Boston. Okay, so I have to know, what is your favorite race?
So I have a couple.
Okay.
I like all of them, really. They're all unique, and certain things about them, they just really stand out. But I think the two runs that I look forward to the most each year has been the Crescent City Classic in New Orleans. And it usually falls like that Saturday before Easter every year.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's just because I've done really well the last 2 years, but the course is awesome. You start off at the Dome, you run down Poydras, you go by Jackson Square, Cafe Du Monde, I guess that's Esplanade, all the way to City Park. So it's an awesome course, lots of people out and about, tons of people. There was like 13,000 people.
Wow. Yeah.
It's fun. And the after party or after race party, there's tons of stuff. There's a band, so it's like a music festival. New Orleans, you know how New Orleans is. I don't have to say much on that.
That's right.
So it says something when people are leaving with big gallon bags of red beans and rice.
Right.
I literally saw people walking out. There's just so much food and like drinks and you name it. Stuff for the kids too. So there's a playground, stuff like that. But that's one of my favorite ones. And then I really enjoy the Double Bridge. I don't know if you've ever done that one.
Pensacola.
Yeah, the 15K. And once again, I don't know if it's because I've done well there too, but I like the time of year. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like how you start in the baseball stadium and run to the beach. And it's pretty awesome that it starts pretty much at sunrise.
Yeah.
So the sun's coming up when you're warming up over the water. It's just it's a pretty awesome course to me. But I enjoy that one, after party as well. But of course, all the local ones are awesome too.
Yeah.
But those are two that really stuck out with me and that I've done the last 2 years. So yeah.
So you like running the bridge twice? Is what I hear. You like bridges, my friend.
It's not the only two that I've done. Well, when I first started the year before. So when I first started the year before, I was joining every 5K, whatever, just to do it because they all sounded cool. The tunnel, whatever. So I jumped into the Dauphin Island Sunset Run Bridge. Jumped into the Africa Town Bridge Run.
That's brutal. Yeah, that one's so brutal.
The year I did both of those, actually, they were advertised wrong. So all right. So like the Dauphin Island one was like 4 miles. It was like 4.5 miles. Middle of the summer. Yeah. So I was dying. Everybody was though. So, but it was an awesome race.
You're like, what's 4.5 miles? That's not too bad. Woohoo!
Same thing with the Africa Town one. The Africa Town one was like a 5K, but I swear it was like a half a mile longer. We went all the way over the bridge and down to the other side, whereas like I guess in the years before or after now, I think they've corrected it. It was still fun. Like I still enjoyed it. I would still do it again. But it's crazy, like when you jump into something, you're expecting something.
You're like, I expected this mileage, no more mileage.
You're like redlining. You're like, all right, I'm about to fall off here.
You have to keep going.
What's good? You can immediately look down at your watch and like, oh, this is not going to end well.
We're not even done.
I can't even see the finish line.
That's fantastic.
But I would still do those again. They were great. I'm not, not bad. It was just, it's crazy like when you
Kyle and your bridges. Wow.
I didn't realize that was a thing until now,
I guess
actually.
so. I mean, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know what that says about you, Kyle.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
Because I would tell you, I did Africa Town this year. I don't know that I will do that one again.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so you do the bridge twice.
Yeah.
And the first time you're like, okay, I got this. And I'm like, I'm going to run up this bridge. And I thought you would turn around on top, or no, you keep going. You go down.
Yeah.
And then you come back around and you're just like, but I've already ran this. I don't want to do this again.
I know. The whole race is a bridge, an uphill, a downhill, an uphill, a downhill.
And you're exhausted from running. So when you go downhill, you're like, I don't even want to do this downhill.
Yeah, I know, right? But the views, though, right?
It was nice. Yeah, I will give you that. But I do like Double Bridge for that reason. The view, just something about being on the water as you're running. And as you said, it's always just, it's almost like picture perfect during that time. The weather's fantastic. And you're just, again, you're seeing the water. And now, of course, you go up 2 bridges, but it's different bridges. It's not the same one.
Well, that first one on Double Bridge is not too bad.
Right.
It's maybe 3 miles or so, and then... But you have that one little small hump or apex or whatever it is. But the second one is...
That'd take a piece of your soul right there.
It's tough. But once you get to the top, then it's all downhill. But as long as that particular run, you think once you get over that bridge, like, all right, I'm going to be done. But then you're like looking and you're like, oh, I'm at 8 miles.
Right.
Like, this is 8 miles at the top of this bridge. I'm not almost
What
done.
do you mean I got to keep going?
Like, no.
That's hilarious. I love that.
But it's awesome, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's just put together so well. Both
and the
of those.
expo's good, too, for Double Bridge.
So I haven't been able to make it.
Oh, that's sad.
So I've missed the expo both years.
Oh, okay.
Got up early and get over there and I've missed those, but I know the Crescent City had a great expo.
That's
too.
what I've heard. It's on my list to do. I want to do the Crescent City.
It is well worth it. That would be one that I would recommend for anybody thinking about it. And now it might be a little tough being that it is on that Saturday before Easter.
Yeah.
But what we've done is we've made it a weekend. So the Easter Bunny comes to the hotel.
Oh, there you go. I like it. That's fun.
Yeah. It's been awesome, actually.
Yeah.
So you're not really rushed back. You get to enjoy it. So go over maybe like on a Friday, I think is what we've done. Did the expo. Had lunch, did the expo, and then Saturday race, and then hang out at the after party, get some dinner.
Yeah.
And then this past year we actually just went to brunch on Easter and hung out in the quarter for a little while and then headed back. So
you're like, great after party.
Yeah,
great after party.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's talk about routine. Okay. What does your pre-race routine look like, Kyle?
So pre-race routine, I'm pretty basic. I mean,
okay.
I don't try to do too much. So I just get there maybe on average, probably about an hour beforehand. Just move around a little bit. And then maybe, I don't know, 45 minutes till the race, I'll run for maybe 15 minutes or so.
Of course you do.
Maybe
shocked by this.
2 miles, probably.
You're like, I go run a bridge. That's what I do.
Maybe not all that. I try to conserve a little energy. I'm just kidding. I wait for the bridge on the cool down. No, I'm just kidding. But I just do like maybe 15 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe 2 miles, sometimes less, just easy, just waking up the muscles type deal. Try to go to the bathroom. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have to,
you get
part
nervous.
Of the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then pretty much ready to go. I do some stretching, of course, too, so I'll stretch a little bit too as well. But I try to be very conservative with my energy. Some people do strides and all that, and I've done those before, but I don't know why. I just tend to hold back a little bit.
So you don't risk in the warm-up. You risk it when it matters.
Right, exactly. When something's on the line, that's when I'm risking it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I'm pretty much basic on warm-ups. Same thing with training runs too. I just lightly stretch and run. And even before I get into it, if it's a speed work day, I do the same thing. Like I'll just lightly stretch, do maybe a few miles easy, and then get into the speed work and set it on my watch, and sometimes not, which is pretty much awesome. It keeps up with all the splits.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's pretty much my pre-race routine.
Okay.
Honestly, nothing crazy.
So you've risked it all. You've crossed the finish line. What does post-race routine look like for you?
So I guess it depends on the distance. Most of the time, I cool down with a few miles or whatever, just with friends or whoever. Most of the time,
Clint, Dave, all those guys.
Whoever.
Yeah, you're like, come on, guys, let's continue running.
Yeah. Oh no, I've had so many people stop us. So the race is over, and I'm like, yeah, I understand, but I have a weekly mileage I gotta meet. No, I'm just kidding. But I just like to cool down because my muscles sometimes will get locked up, or not locked up, but tight or whatever. Yeah, so it's just something easy, nothing crazy. Now, the only time I've raced a marathon, I didn't do a cool down at all. Like
I'm done.
I was done. I was like, I made it. Okay, I'm excited. I made it across the line. I stopped moving, and then after a few minutes, my legs were just starting to lock up. But it was fine. It was worth it for sure. Like I would do it again.
And Mississippi Gulf Coast, you have to walk upstairs.
I didn't
to get out of the stadium.
So that's a good
cool down.
All the food and stuff is upstairs.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that either. So I stopped on the baseball field with all my family and everything, and I'm like hanging out. We were just hanging out for 10 minutes or so, and then by that point, I guess it had set in. And we start walking, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even hardly move. And I'm like hobbling up the stairs, holding the railing, just easing up, and get to the top. I'm just trying to hydrate.
Yeah.
And I didn't really eat too much. I'm not really hungry right off the bat.
Right.
And then I just hang out, and then maybe an hour or so later, we were leaving, and I had to go down those stairs. And going down was worse than going up.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
But like I said, well worth it. I would do it again, especially with results like that. I was top of the world that day. But yeah, nothing crazy. Again, nothing crazy.
I don't risk the cool down.
Yeah, the cool down. It's just to hang out with friends and then rush back to get in the line for the beers. Maybe.
There we go.
First one. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm joking.
Wow. Let's talk about.
I'm kidding.
Do you have a favorite running item? Like you will not go running without this item.
So, yeah, it's the watch. I guess the watch is probably the main thing because got to get credit for it,
Yeah, and that's a Coros, right?
Yeah, Coros.
See, Coros buddies.
Have one?
Yes,
Oh, yeah. I've had this now for like maybe 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a Pace 2.
Nice.
Is that what you have?
I've got the Pace 3.
So, I might be buying one soon. I'm having a hard time. I don't need one, but my niece just got into running, so...
You're like, if I give her
I'm thinking,
this
yes,
one,
exactly.
There we go.
I can justify it then. Hey, well, she might not like it, so I know you guys don't want to spend all that money. Maybe if I'll sell you this one for super, super cheap, then I can get it and it'll be
And it's
justified.
relatively expensive for a watch. It's relatively affordable considering how much other prices are. That's exactly what I did. I got Christmas money. My daughter was getting into running, and I was like, you know what? You need a new watch. So you take my Coros Pace 2, and I'll get the 3.
I love it, yeah.
So
I'm in the same boat.
There you go.
I'm kind of working it right now. I'm having a hard time. Like, I'm justifying it, but it's hard to just do it. But I think I'm going to do it.
I say do it.
I'm going to definitely do it.
Do it.
I've seen it a couple times already. Like, I went to some of these local shops and pulled it out. Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, and they just came out with a retro version too.
That is the only reason. The green one, I'm like,
I saw that and I was like, no, I want the green one.
I saw it. I went to Fleet Feet the other day and I was like, I pulled it out and I'm like, oh man.
It looks so sleek.
I was hoping it didn't look as good as the pictures.
Oh,
so I'd be like,
don't tell me that, Kyle. Don't tell me that.
But it looks, it lives up to the hype. And for me personally, I'm a sucker for that color.
Yeah, I know.
And I was like, I have to have it.
That's where I am. So now I'm like, does anybody need a pace 3? Yeah. My husband's listening. He's no one else.
No more.
I'm telling you, the color wave that they did, I was like, that's amazing. Because, like you said, it's already a great watch. You can do so many workouts with it. It's customizable. The training plans that they have on there is amazing.
So I don't really use mine to the fullest potential. Like I'm still like, I just use it basically as a watch, like a GPS watch.
Okay.
I do use the workouts sometimes, but not all the time. But sometimes when I want specific splits or whatever, I want to see them. Then I'll program it in there. But most of the time, I just run. And then if I'm doing little sprints in between something, I'll just close enough. It's more effort at that point. But yeah, I love it. I use it for that. And then maybe my heart rate a little bit. But I've also bought the heart rate strap.
Ooh, do you like it?
So I bought it.
Next question.
I bought it, but I've yet to use it.
Oh, Kyle.
I know. I bought it and I've had it for like 6 months too. I'm terrible.
Stop.
Yeah. I feel like I'm terrible. I can't believe I'm saying this.
We did talk earlier.
I was like, I have to have this.
As a runner, I must have the heart rate monitor.
Yeah. And like everybody's getting one. I have to have a heart rate monitor.
In your defense, though, we did talk earlier about how neither one of us are tech savvy.
Yeah.
And that's another piece of tech.
Right.
So I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Right. I do plan on using it, but I wasn't training with it at the time. So I didn't want to start using it when I had all those races in like the spring. Now, I'm sure it would have helped me, but that was just one other thing. I didn't want to wrap my mind around that right now. I know it's probably easy. You just plug it in and sync it to your watch or whatever, but I was in the zone. It's like, I'll do it later when I'm not worried about it. So, but I do plan on using that. But I guess the only other thing besides the Coros that I use like every run is the Road ID. You have one too?
I have one too.
All right. We're on the same page.
We're on the same page, and we even have the same band.
We do.
Look at that.
I have that one too. I haven't used it yet, but I've been using this one for a while.
Look at that.
So,
does this mean I'm up there with Kyle and Clint and Dave McDonald?
Definitely.
I feel elite now.
We all are. For sure.
I love that. I tell people all the time, a Road ID is well worth it.
So the reason why I carry this Road ID is because I have this Coros and it's really not synced to anything. And I guess like you can get texts and stuff, but it's not synced to me personally. So if you were like, God forbid, if I fall out or something. If you were to come up on me, I don't run with my phone. I don't have anything on me that would tell you who I am.
Yeah.
So this is more of an in-case thing. I just pretty much put my name, my birth date, where I'm from, and my wife and my mom's contact, and then also my blood type at the bottom, and organ donor.
Yeah.
Just like super simple, but if something were to happen, somebody could just look on my wrist, because other than that, you wouldn't be able to identify me. So really just a safety thing. I don't know if anything will ever happen. Hopefully it doesn't.
Right.
But
well, and you feel better about it too.
I do.
Because you're like, it's there. Mine's the same way.
Same reason.
Yeah. Like I have Grays. That's my emergency contact. So they know, hey, this is who to contact.
Right.
So, no, it's great.
It does the legwork for whoever. Automatically, they can just show up and be like, okay, here's who to call.
Yeah.
Here's their birthday. Here's who they are. Everything. So
yeah. No,
but those are probably
that.
That's probably another big thing that I usually keep every time I run. And then other than that, like I said, I don't really use too much. I don't use my phone. So
not a music guy.
Well. So, never in a race.
Okay.
I've never used music or anything in my race. Occasionally, I'll use it in workouts, like really tough ones, or sometimes in the summer, like we were talking about. If I need that extra little motivation to get me going, I'll throw it in there to help me zone out or whatever, or get through it. But for the most part, I pretty much turn off everything. I leave my phone in the car. I carry just a single key in my back pocket of my shorts, and then I just go.
You just go.
Wow. I like it better that way, I think.
Yeah.
I think I can, I don't know, like it's like the only time of day that I have to myself, so I can just decompress and think about everything, like what's going on in life, my goals. It's just relaxing almost. I mean, I guess that's not really the right word. But
no, it's great, yeah.
It's just, I can turn off all the tech and stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't have to check it out. But as soon as I get back, I'm uploading that to Strava. And I'm checking it.
That is awesome.
When I'm out there, I'm off. But when I get back, I'm turning on that Strava.
I also like how that's the first thing. You're like, I'm not checking messages or emails. I'm checking Strava.
Yeah. All these missed calls from work. No, those can wait. Strava notifications.
Kyle, that is great.
It's terrible. It's not bad, though. That's how you know you're getting old, I think, when Strava's the only app I really care about. Like on Strava, just scrolling. It looks like a cool route.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, man, that is fantastic. So you mentioned shoes.
Yeah.
So what do you run in, my friend?
So I'm a Nike guy.
Okay.
I do a lot of the Nike Invincibles, which is their max cushion shoe.
Okay.
You can ask Dave for that. I'm sure he knows.
I'm sure he knows, yeah.
But yeah, I'm a big fan of those, and I don't know if it's just because I put in a lot of miles, but I can also use it for multiple things.
Okay.
For me, at least. You don't have to have multiple shoes. I do have multiple shoes, but that one can cover a lot of the stuff other than race day and speed workouts. So that's why I use it. I can do all my easy runs. I can do tempo runs in it. I can do hill repeats. And there's a lot of cushion in there, so it saves my legs. It tends to save my legs. And as far as race day shoes, Nike again, but I go for the Vapor Flies, I think.
Oh, okay.
The carbon plated Vapor Flies.
Because Kyle likes to fly.
I do. But that's my race day shoe. And those are super light and they look cool and they feel fast. I don't know if they are fast.
Clearly they are.
I think, but it's got to be some of us too. I don't know. I think they look cool to me and I don't know. They work. I think it's the big thing. They work. And it's hard for me to switch because once I found something that works, I know my size. I can order it or go pick it up in these local places. But a lot of times the Vapor Flies and stuff like that, they don't really carry those locally. I know they do it like McCoy's and stuff like that. But if you want the crazy colors, and I'm a sucker for crazy colors.
Are you really?
I am.
Shocked by that.
I got the hot pink ones.
With the retro watch and everything.
Yeah. I have hot pink ones. Yeah.
Wow.
Yellow, bright yellow. Yeah. The crazier the better, I think, for me.
Does it mean they're faster?
I like to tell myself that.
Okay.
Or that's how I'll justify buying them again. Like
these are going to make me fast.
The pink ones are definitely faster than those. I like to trick myself.
I like that. I think that's a great rationalization right there.
But yeah, I've always been pretty basic on shoes. Like I find something that works, I go for it. Same thing with the whole kit. Like I just wear the same stuff, more like neutral, just black or white or something like that. And then crazy shoes, like the crazy colors.
Yeah.
So like nothing really pops but the shoes. That's what I've.
Because they see you flying. You're like a blur. That's what I'm hearing. You're like a blur, and then all they see is the shoes.
That's hilarious. Well, you would believe it or not, people have recognized me because of the shoes.
Yeah.
That's how my parents have been able to pick me out, or my wife's been able to pick me out. They'll see me in a race or something. They're like, oh, I see, there's the pink shoes, or the yellow shoes, or the blue shoes. It's all been bright colors.
Wow. That's actually a really good idea.
Because now a lot of people have them, but they typically stand out.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, you can pick people out of a crowd, like, oh, here's some bright shoes coming, whatever it is. No, but so I've been told that. So but
that's great.
Anyway, Nike is where it's at now. I do have a pair of trail shoes that I got from Run and Try, and they're Brooks. I've just ran them a few times on the trails and stuff like that. But they're good too. But as far as pavement, those are my two go-tos.
Nike, the brighter, the better, the faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I keep telling myself.
Let's talk fuel for your longer runs. How do you fuel?
So I don't really usually train with any fuel other than the real long ones.
Okay.
So maybe, I'm trying to think of the distance, maybe anything like half marathon or further would probably be where I would maybe bring something with me.
Okay.
And I use a brand of gels called Science and Sports.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
No, I mean
SIS
yes.
gels.
Okay.
So some people like them, I've heard, and some people don't. But the reason why I use those is because one of my buddies, Augustin, referred me these gels. He's like, hey, you should try these. These are going to be easy on your stomach. Because I was really reluctant to it because going back to Boston 2016, like I said, I wasn't prepared. I tried the goos. And it was like a coin flip. I tried those beforehand in training.
Sure.
And some days I'd feel great. And then some days, 2 miles later, I would be sick, throwing up, whatever. Yeah, it was like a coin flip. So I was really scared to use those. But when I made up my mind that I was wanting to do the marathon, I knew I had to use something. Because
it's a marathon.
Yeah, you need something. You're not going to just show up. And so what I did was, like I said, he referred those to me and I bought some and they worked pretty well. And I just started taking them in practice. And the more I took them, I started simulating what I would do in the marathon. So I would record when I took them. I made sure I knew, like, okay, when do I need them? Because when you feel like you need them, it's too late.
Right.
So I just started doing them maybe every 4 miles or so, maybe every 30 minutes, every 4 miles, and just started documenting it on my training runs. And they held up pretty good. I ended up taking like 6, I think, in the marathon. And I wish I would have had one more during the marathon, just because I thought I had one extra, or I thought I would have been fine. But I guess running for that long and that final, like maybe 10K or whatever it was, is when I really started feeling like starting to drain, hitting that wall. I wasn't really hitting it. It's where everything started. Everything's depleted and you're starting to...
And there's a hill.
Yeah, I was focused on that hill. So that was like the minor things like I could get to. So I could get to that hill. It's like, all right, if I can get there, I got 2 miles all day.
Yeah.
If I can get to that. So I started thinking about little things. But I was running on empty. But I probably could have used one more. But anyway, we all learned.
Yeah.
I know next time I'll carry more.
Did you carry more from Mississippi Gulf Coast?
No, that's what
the one.
Yeah,
okay,
that's the one I did.
Okay.
I didn't carry anything for Boston. Which
no.
Okay, wait. I take that back. I did. Okay. So
What?
So the gels, right? I was having issues like in training. So I just didn't know about really anything. I'm just, like I said, I made the joke, and now here I am, like training, really to finish. And I guess the second goal was like sub 4 hours was my goal.
Okay.
And I just started practicing with those. They weren't really working. I was like, man, this is not working for me. I can't use these. This is not worth the coin flip. I have a better chance of seeing what happens than continuing this. So I just mainly focused on the water and the Gatorade endurance. That's what they were serving on the course.
Okay.
So I practiced with those, and then I went to the store, and they had these little Gatorade gummies.
Okay. Yeah.
They're
the blocks.
Yeah, something like blocks. Yeah. But it was Gatorade brand. Okay. And I just saw them in the store, so I grabbed a pack of those. And I was like, I'll be good.
Sounds legit.
I wasn't. But I made it, though. I made it. I didn't, I made it. And I just missed that goal, too. I think it was like 4:05 or something like that at that time.
For your first marathon.
Yeah. I was happy with it, but I wanted, like I said, I usually set 2 goals. An achievable one, which at the time was, I'm running the Boston Marathon, I'm just going to finish with my brother-in-law. And then it would be cool if we went under 4 hours. That would be cool. So it didn't happen, but I was close.
And now we know the real reason why Kyle wants to go back.
I want to go back, that's what I'm saying. I need to get a piece of my soul I've left there.
Gotcha. Now it comes out.
That's what's driving me right now. That's all I thought about. Like for Mississippi, that's all I was thinking about the whole time. Crossing that line, punching that ticket to Boston, having a shot to see what I maybe can really do. I don't know what I can do, obviously, but we'll see. Hopefully that's the goal.
That's incredible.
So, skip the whole 3s. I went 2 marathons. I did Boston, 4:05, I think, 4:05, 4:06. And then, like I said, took that break, got back into it 2 years ago in 2023, December. Ran Mississippi Gulf Coast, skipped the 3s, went to 2:46. And now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild.
that was a wild goal.
Yeah.
It happened. So
that's amazing.
I'm excited.
Wow. Now, SIS, they have hydration tablets too, don't they?
So I've seen all that.
Okay. I was going to ask if you.
I haven't tried really any of that yet. I've seen some of the stuff like that. And there's actually some other fuel that they've came out with recently that I've noticed, like some beta fuel, SIS beta. I don't know. Maybe it's more carbs or whatever. I haven't really done my homework on that. But yeah, really, that just worked well for me. It set well in my stomach. I was able to take multiple ones, and then obviously whatever they had on the course, which that was a big thing I did as well. Like I just mentioned. For both marathons, I did the research of what they were providing, and I trained with that.
There you go.
So, like Mississippi Gulf Coast, they offered water and then Powerade, the blue Powerade.
Yeah, that's right.
So I sent them an email. I know they were probably like, what is this guy asking all this stuff for? What kind of sports drinks do you guys have? How often is the water stops? What will we provide? They're like, this guy's crazy. So, but anyway, so I wanted to do that because I wanted to practice on my long runs and my long workouts like it was going to be in the marathon. And I wanted to sync up my gels when I finished to be able to get a little bit of water or Gatorade or whatever just to kind of wash it down. So I knew how long it would take me to take one because I don't just rush it down. Like some
Yeah.
people just
Swig
slam
it
them
back,
down
yeah.
and throw them away. I maybe would sip on them or whatever you would call it, maybe gradually take it for maybe a quarter of a mile or so.
Okay.
And just ease it down, and then hopefully by that point I'll be within half a mile or less of a water station or something, and I didn't always need it, but it would just be there almost like in case I needed something to wash it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, that was very smart.
so just
really
like
good,
what I did, and I don't know, maybe it's just I overthink a lot of things.
No, that was really good. I'm like, I haven't ever thought about that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I don't want to stop. I didn't want to stop at all, so I was
Mm-hmm.
trying to think of the best way to keep everything moving, not waste any time, and be prepared, like I said, for the race.
Yeah.
So that's what I did during the marathon. Now for training and stuff, sometimes I eat lunch early in the day, usually, maybe 11 or so, 11-ish. But I usually run in the afternoons, maybe around, I guess, between 4 and 6. It's
Okay.
probably like my sweet spot of running, for the most part. And sometimes I'll get a little hungry in the afternoon or before I run, so I'll maybe bring a Snickers. Yeah. And I don't know why, but I tend to eat one of those just for a little bit of energy before I run. Probably not the best option, obviously, but it gives me a little boost, especially if I've gone through the day. I ate earlier in the day, like I said, and the day drags on. You need a little boost to get out the door. So that's the only other fuel I use. But like I said, I'm a pretty basic person.
Is that a miniature Snickers? Or are we talking like
No, we're talking
king size?
size.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna go for it, we got to go all in. That's one thing I do. I go all in on everything I do.
That is absolutely great.
I'm not opposed to the miniature snack size or whatever.
You know, I've got the 10 of those.
It's not always king size, but a lot of times it is.
Wow, that's hilarious. I like
30 minutes before, something like that, 45 minutes before. I typically don't eat really before races or anything like that either.
Oh, you don't eat a Snickers before you race?
Nah, I don't risk it then. I'll risk it on a training run. Like, I'll deal with it.
So now we're going to have a saying, Kyle runs on Snickers.
Yeah. Exactly. Sometimes.
That is fantastic.
But yeah, for pre-race, I don't really do anything either. Now, I guess from the 15K that I did, like in Double Bridge and like the Turkey 10, and anything after that, I've forced myself to almost eat a piece of bread or toast with no butter or anything, just a little something. I did that for the marathon too. Although in the hotel for the marathon, we didn't have anything, so I was just eating just 2 pieces of plain bunny bread or whatever I got from.
So you went to the store and
yeah. That's like whatever. I was
like, I need a loaf of bread.
Yeah, they were like, okay, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't really. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I don't like risk it. I don't know why. I don't like risking it before. You know?
Okay. Like you said, toe on the line, then you'll risk it.
Yeah, I'll risk it.
Wow, that's amazing. Let's talk about, do you have a favorite running memory? When you think about running, this memory just gets you.
So maybe they've all been pretty good. I can find good memories in pretty much everything, it seems. But if I had to narrow it down, there'd be probably 2. I did a couple of fun runs and a 5K with my son, Walker. And just like doing that with him, it was like a big memory. It was just fun to do it with him. No like racing. I'm just kind of like there. Had my phone taking pictures and videos and all that. So that was a good memory of him, watching him do that. But as far as, I guess, me goes, maybe the Gulf Coast Marathon.
Yeah.
Just because everything clicked that day. Everything came together, and just seeing, okay, so you were talking about the half, how it's a straight shot. Well, they drive you a half a marathon further and drop you off at a park. So that day started off, I stayed at the Margaritaville where they were having like all the expo and all that, and they were supposed to have a bus that left from there, shuttles and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they only had one, I didn't know this, but they only had one marathon bus. And they were waiting to fill it up. And I got down there at almost 5 o'clock before something, and I was like, I had already planned it out because I like to be early. I like to be there. Even if I'm not doing anything, I like to be where I'm at.
Sure.
Relax. And they were like, yeah, we'll probably leave at maybe 5:30 or 5:40. And I'm like, oh man. I'm like stressing in my head. But I'm like thinking, I'm trying to keep it cool. So I'm like, I can't control this.
Yeah.
I need to stay calm. Because my whole family's sleeping up in the hotels and all that. And I'm the only one up, and I'm debating, do I wake them up? Or do I just wait it out? Because I didn't have a car, everything. It was just, I didn't have that plan. But I just hung tight, settled in, sat, just started thinking, and just turned it off. I can't control this. I've put too much work into this. I'm not going to let this affect the outcome, right? And so that's how the morning started. When we got there, it was maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes to the start. It was quick. Jumped in the line for the bathroom. I didn't have to go once again, but I'm going to knock it out real quick and try. Went to the bathroom, ran into Dave and Victor Stevens. And after that, we hopped on the quick warm-up. We ran the little quick mile. By the time we got back, stretched, and it was like, gun went off.
Wow.
Yeah, like I just made it. I don't think it was, I probably had 5-10 minutes, but it seemed like that quick.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal for what I normally like to do. I like to be more in control of the things, everything going on. But I just rolled with it that day. And so that's probably the biggest memory is that, and then seeing my family. Because it starts so far away and it's thin for the first half as far as spectators.
Sure.
But once you get through the half, it's you start passing some of the half people and being with some of the crowds are bigger because it's it's a long straight shot. It's not like you can see people multiple places like in a different course back or whatever. So I was able to see my family. They drove along. They would drive a few miles and then cheer me on.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so it was awesome. I wasn't really expecting that because I didn't really know how it was going to shake out. I knew like for sure they would be able to see me at the end. And they were like, well, we'll try to see you at the beginning. We'll see what we can do. Because we didn't know exactly how it was going to shake out. And they were able to see me a handful of times. So I saw them maybe 5 times.
Aww.
And that little motivation goes a long way, especially after the half. Really, the half is when you start seeing other people. And then you start mixing in with people and all that, which was awesome. So I had a guy riding a bike escort.
Wow.
And then, behind me.
You were one of those.
Yeah. It was the first time. It was crazy. And I had a motorcycle cop in front of me. So when we started coming in to the half, this is what really, like once you started passing those people, the half people, it started really firing you up because even though you're hurting, you're starting to hurt, you're seeing all these other people and everybody's just cheering you on.
Yes. I was one of those people.
Oh, nice. So it like gives you the juice. Like even if you think you're doubting yourself, because with the marathon, like I touched on a little bit, it's like a roller coaster of emotions.
Sure. Yeah.
Like I felt fine. I'm pushing it, but I'm feeling good, in control. I noticed I started taking my gels a little too fast. But hey, I was going to figure it out when it happened. I'd rather be good, topped off for the majority of the race. Yeah. But seeing them get you pumped up, and then they were making room. Because we had one side of the road blocked off. So the cop, if there would people be lined across the road, they would move them over to the side. So you had all this cheering going the whole way. So that really just kept me locked in.
Yeah.
And then the little things, like we said, get to the bridge. If I can get to the bridge, I have 2 miles all day. If I can get to the bridge, I can get to the finish line. Yeah. So just the little wins, I guess, is what I pick out.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, catch this person or keep... well, no, I mean... Wow. No.
Okay.
Like for the half. So let me keep this person in my sights or let me catch this person or whatever. It just keeps you like on autopilot, but also aware. Sure. If that makes sense. Yeah. You don't want to be too zoned out where you might miss taking a gel or you might not do something right, but you want to be aware, but you also want to be turned off at the same time. It's like a fine line, for me at least. So anyway, that one probably sticks out. There's a lot of emotions. I got to the end and finally got to the top of the stairs, which we talked about, and I just sitting there for a while, and I even started tearing up a little bit. Oh, and I think it was just because it was happy tears. Yeah. But I think it was just because you'd put so much work. And especially into goals that you don't even know if you could fail. Like, you could fail at these goals. Yeah. Like, this could have been 19, I did 19 weeks. 19 weeks, and I could have failed. But I think that's what I also like about it, too. I like setting these kind of challenging goals, but some that you can attain. Yeah. For sure. And then some that maybe you might not be able to, but at least you'll hit your main goal. You know what I mean?
And you surpassed your goal.
I did.
That's amazing.
I did.
Wow.
I really had 2, so I knocked out both of them, and I was happy for it. So where I finished doesn't really matter for actually all races. Of course, you want to do well in place or whatever. Yeah. But ultimately, I could come in whatever place and still meet my goal, and I'll be just as happy. Actually, even more happy, I think, because I've raced with other people, and I've gotten beat pretty good by them, which it doesn't even bother me, but it also brings out a better version of me. I was also able to get faster times being around those people.
Yeah.
So I like what drives me. I'd rather come in last place but still succeed in my goals. I think most people are like that.
Yeah. I like that because you're winning, but how you want to win.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
And that's how I look at it.
That's amazing. Wow. Let's talk about, you did mention when you have hard workouts or things that you're like, oh, I got to have some music. What is your playlist like?
So I go back to a lot of stuff I grew up on, like the pop punk.
Okay.
Pop punk, pop rock, yeah. I like it because it's all upbeat and it just gets me fired up.
Yeah.
Like, and it makes me like want to run through walls and stuff. Maybe not that extreme.
Let me risk it because of pop.
But more of the rock. You know what I'm talking about. But I like all kinds of music, but that just tends to fire me up. Like, and I think it's maybe because I grew up on all that. And that was like what I like to do. And it just gets me going. You know? But like I said, I like a lot of different music. But typically on the playlist for working out, I need something upbeat and loud.
Yeah.
All the way up and just go with it. So
just zone out. Just go. Okay.
Sometimes I'll put them on. I'll put on the headphones. I wear shocks.
Yeah.
Because I like to be aware of my surroundings. I'm sure everybody does.
Yeah.
But I'll put them on. And a lot of times I won't even use them. But it's more of if I know this could be a potential hard run. Because I try to get through it without it. But I have it there in case. It gets hard and I need to finish this out, turn it on, and then get through it.
Wow.
So, but I like to, like I said, going back to being mentally tough, because a lot of these, I don't race with headphones, so typically don't like to run with headphones, because I don't want to be relying on that when it gets tough, so.
That's fair.
You know what I mean?
Let's talk about recovery.
Sure.
How does that look like for you? Do you have a favorite recovery tool?
Oh, so I'm terrible at recovery,
too.
But I do have a few things. So I have these, they look like Crocs. They're called canes. I don't know if, are you familiar with those?
No.
Canes.
Okay.
And they're basically like Crocs, but they have little points in the sole.
Okay.
So it's maybe pressure points.
Okay.
It's like an active recovery, and you just stimulates blood flow and all that through your feet and all that. So I wear those quite a bit. Have you ever heard of Fireflies?
Yes. Oh.
So somebody turned me on to those a while back, and I use those sometimes more so before than after.
Okay.
So I'd rather use those before. So maybe before a race, if we were going to New Orleans or just say the Crescent City like I did, I would throw those on in the car and just for an hour or two, and it accumulates blood flow as well.
So your wife drives? What? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of that leg twitching. You ain't.
No, yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. Your whole legs are jumping.
That's right, yeah. You are not hitting that gap.
So I use those, but I don't know, do they work or not? I don't know. I feel like they do.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel fresh. But I always usually, like, before big races, like for the marathon, I took 2 days off.
Okay.
And I don't usually take very many days off, so I think that plays a part in recovering, is taking a couple days off before big races, at least one day. Sometimes the really ones I care about a lot, like I've trained, this is my A goal or A race or whatever, I'll take 2 days. So I use Fireflies, canes, more for the active recovery.
Sure.
And then I have these ice packs that you get from Academy or Dick's Sporting Goods or whatever. And I usually ice up for a few days beforehand. Same thing. Mainly mine's more so the beginning part.
Sure.
I usually do the recovery part.
Well, you went ahead and ran a marathon before a 5K, so it just makes sense. Recover before.
Yeah, why not?
Why not?
So I guess I didn't really think about that until now, but because I bought a foam roller, but just the heart rate monitor, it's never been used. Yeah. I'm like, I definitely need this foam roller. I need to recover.
That's great.
Never used it. I got a yoga mat too for doing things like, oh, yeah, I can do this for when I do core and stuff like that. Yeah, never
well, that's great. That leads us into our next question, which is, do you do any cross training activities?
Oh man, no, not really.
Didn't you just hear my yoga mat's still in the wrapper?
So not really. Okay. Now I have, so how I look at it is I really only have time with my life currently to only run. So, and then I also look at it as I'd rather be pretty good at one thing than okay at a couple. I don't know if that's wrong or, you know what I mean, but that's how I look at it. And so what if it comes up in a training plan, if you see either off day or cross training, I typically go for the easy miles. I'll just replace easy miles there like I normally would. Now, I have done some. I worked out with, my wife goes to Crew Fitness a lot, and I've gone there a few times, and that place is awesome. But I just leave so sore. I'm like, oh man, how do you guys do this every day?
Yeah.
But I guess just like with anything, like you just got to get used to it. So I've done that a few times, and it's awesome. They have a good thing going over there. So maybe rowing or something I would like to get involved in.
Rowing, yeah.
But right now, currently, I just pretty much just focus on running. I do swim in the pool, I guess, with my parents have a pool. So we go down there, especially during the summer and stuff like that, and hang out. So I do a little bit of swimming, but not like Ironman swimming or anything like that.
Like I'm not here
More
for the
of like a doggy paddle type, you know?
That's hilarious.
So not too much cross training, but I definitely would be interested in it, especially with the core. I wish I could find somebody to maybe show me the ropes on the core, because I just know from just word of mouth, YouTube, stuff like that. But it's always better with somebody, I feel like. So
also, Koros has I'm just saying, just throwing that out there.
And it's only on the Pace 3, right?
I'm sure it's like on any. I see what you did there. Yes,
it's only
on the Pace 3. So you need the core workout.
I'm just kidding. I need to do that, yeah. But I've joined, last year I joined a little gym, Club for Fitness or whatever. I was really just trying to beat the heat some days. But the treadmill just tore me up a little bit. My muscles, for some reason, because I don't use them enough. So I didn't really use it too much. And then when I was going in to try to do some core, it gets intimidating because everybody's in there throwing up a lot of weight and slamming stuff down. And I'm just looking for the 20-pound dumbbell. And it just feels, I need to probably need somebody here with me, or you know what I mean. It's a little intimidating, and especially since I don't really know exactly what I'm doing with some of these machines. So I tend to not go. But I definitely want to go, but I think I'd rather have somebody with me to kind of show me the ropes and help me get involved, I guess.
That's fair. That's a fair thing. Besides Boston, you wanting to go back, is there a race that you're like, I have unfinished business with? Or that was just not a race I want to do again?
That's probably the big one. Because if you think about it, that's the only reason why I was doing that, running in general, was just for that race. And I pretty much ran for a few months afterwards and hung it up and had a baby. And because I never really wanted to do it again after that. I enjoyed it, but it was just so tough. I wasn't opposed to not running again, but the marathon, I was like, man, I'm never doing that again. That hurt, you know?
Yeah.
But I think as I got in shape for that whole year before I actually started training for the marathon again, it just took being consistent running and building up the mileage and getting stronger to have the confidence to be like, yeah, you know what, I think I could do this again. I definitely want to try it. That's when the idea started creeping back in. Like, yeah, you definitely need to try this. But that's probably the biggest one. I've had little things go on in different races, but I've never really let them affect me. I've had times where I wasn't necessarily proud of, but who has great races all the time anyway? They were still PRs for me in the distance, most of them, at the time. So it just wasn't the outcome I originally wanted. So, yeah, maybe Azalea Trail. I've had 2 years of maybe PRs, but not the outcome I wanted. But I guess maybe that ties into why I like Crescent too, because that's usually, this year it was a week after, and the year before it was 2 weeks after. So it's almost had a bad taste in my mouth and then a quick chance to redeem myself really quick. You know what I mean? Like the next week or 2 weeks later. So maybe that, but I still love it. I'm just saying it was still a success overall. I don't know, I guess maybe in the 10 miler at the Turkey 10, I was training for the marathon because it was in November. And I was running with a guy, Cody, and he had run 5 miles before, and he was going to do sub 60 minutes or sub hour 10-mile speed work, and then he was going to run 5 miles after. So that was his big, he was in the middle of training for a marathon as well. And at that point, I was trying to break an hour as well. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to hang with Cody because I know he's excellent at keeping pace. I'm all over the place. So that race, I was simulating the marathon. So I brought a gel or two with me. Even though I didn't think I necessarily needed it, I wanted it to make sure I was good and while I was racing to take these things. Because it's different if you're just taking one versus racing with one. An easy mile, you're just going versus full blast. And so we got to, I guess it was, I'm trying to think. It was right where the 10K would turn around at. There was a water station there. So in my head.
We were at that water station.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I saw Dave there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. crazy. Small world, right? So I did see Dave there. So I was like, I'm going to take it there because I knew there was going to be a water stop. Once again, I was trying to plan it.
Yeah.
So we came around that corner, and it was a quick corner, and then we saw you guys, and I saw you, and I was like, oh my gosh. I hadn't taken my gel. So I ripped it open, and like I said, I like sip on them, but I slammed it down, threw it in the trash, grabbed the water, took a quick sip, threw it in the trash.
Okay.
I was like, wow, that's crazy. Still good. Still good at this point.
Yeah.
Get to the 5 mile turnaround, grab a little bit of they had Gatorade or whatever.
Okay.
Took a little sip, and pretty much right after the 5 mile till maybe about 6.5 miles, I had this terrible side stitch.
Oh, no.
It was awful. And I was just like, it hurt. And like I said, I was with Cody because I'm going to hang with him because he'll keep me in check with the paces. I won't go too hot. I'll be on track to meet my ultimate goal. And after that, I guess he could immediately tell something was wrong. I think he might have heard me grunt or something like, oh. And he's like, are you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. And he knew. He's like, but he motivated me. He's like, just stay with me. Just stay with me. So I just, you got to fight through most everything you do. You have to fight through it, and you can. That's the thing. Everything you can pretty much fight through. You got to control your mind pretty much. It's the biggest thing. And so for 1.5 miles, but he used, which I used in the marathon. I got 2 miles all day. He used that. He's like, man, you got this. Just stay with me. You got 2 miles all day. You can do this. You can do this in your sleep. You know what I mean? And I never really thought about it like that. Like, just 2 miles is, we got this.
Yeah.
So, but maybe that was like a bad time. I risked it. I just slammed it. I knew I shouldn't have do it, but I did it anyway. I was like, well, here we are. So
you could have said, guys, I'm going to need someone, Dave, I'm going to need you to run with me with the water.
Yeah,
and then when I'm
follow me.
ready, I'll take the water.
Yeah, when I'm ready. Yeah. Meet me about 1 mile up.
Right. Next time you should do that.
I'm just kidding. That's crazy. So you were at that water stop?
I was at that water stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I usually am racing a lot of these races or running them, and for the first time I actually volunteered like you guys did for Do It in the Bush.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was cool.
yeah.
I figured I see all these people, and actually I've talked to multiple people. I've seen them all doing this, and especially if I have the time, I'm not running. Why not? Why not give back a little bit? Everybody's doing it. They could use the help. So I just chipped in and sent people in the trails.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool.
It was cool. I mean, I definitely met a lot more people, and I would definitely do it again.
I tell people that you have just as much fun, if not more, volunteering than you do for the actual race. Because one, you get to cheer people on, you get something to do. But we were laughing and having a good time. And then there was this part where no one was taking water from Dave. And so it became this joke because there was a friend of ours, Youngie, she was out there doing water. And so Dave was like, water, water. And nobody was taking water from him. And so it just became, okay, now we counted 2 people that took water from Dave. So, but that's a memory that we have. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm thankful. Thank you for volunteering for races because it's so fun.
Yeah, anytime. Like, I definitely, like I said, I'll definitely do it again, especially if I don't have anything going on. I don't see why I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I can't find a reason not to.
And somebody has to volunteer for races for runners to be able to have races. So
there's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah.
You know? Like I just was sending them in the trail one way, and then I switched the other part of the street and sent them, I guess, when they came out of the trail back up to the front. But beforehand, I think we threw some waters in a cooler and picked up some cones. And very easy, nothing crazy, just whatever they needed. Hey, what do you guys need me to do? And
dude, that's awesome. Aw.
Yeah.
Look at you, Kyle.
Yeah, that's good.
So what advice would you give to somebody that is starting to hit the pavement? They come to you and they're like, Kyle, I want to start running. Okay. What is something that you would tell them? Yeah,
so I guess the biggest thing would be consistency, I think. It goes a long way. Even if you're not doing any speed, obviously at first you're not doing anything like that. You're just moving, really. I focused more so like you could do maybe a mile or you could do 10 minutes. But I would think the biggest advice I would give somebody is to just mainly go out there and do maybe 10 minutes or whatever and just try not to stop. You know what I mean? Because when you stop, then your heart rate comes down and all that. You try to get maybe a little bit better. There's different rules and stuff like that, and I'm not super familiar on all those, but 10%, something like that.
Yeah.
But I would just say a little bit of movement and a little bit more each week. And you start building on it, and it becomes easier.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be fun for the first probably, 2 weeks maybe. because everything's coming along with it, your muscles and everything. So it's not exactly fun, but you become more conditioned to it and you're prepared for it. So, and then you just start pushing it there for you you just pretty much push from then on out. You know? But also, I would say there's different Facebook groups. I don't go to all of them, but there's different Facebook groups around town that offer group runs.
Yeah.
And that'll be a good way to get involved. The one I go to right now, and me and some of my buddies, we go to Braided River sometimes on Thursday nights. And it's a group run too. And there's all abilities there. There's people walking. There's people with dogs. There's people with babies. Kids running. It's not just fast people or slow people. It's any and everybody. And it's not a race, so everybody's just grouping up and talking.
Yeah.
And you go get a few miles and hang out afterwards. It's more of like a social thing. And then from that point, you meet different people, and it becomes easier to me to run with people, especially at first.
Yeah.
And when it's tough. And then I would go maybe that route. That would be something that I would look into if I was just getting involved. And everybody's supportive of one another. Like we talked about earlier, everybody genuinely wants everyone to do well.
Yeah.
And is happy for them when they do well. So it's one big family.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I didn't know that at first until, like I said, I recently got into this. And I used to do all my running solo. And I would try to avoid people, I guess, because when I was first starting off, wasn't maybe that disciplined in like pace. I'd maybe pick it up, try to show off maybe or something. Or like, I'm not slow, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know if that's the right word either. I just would match people's energy. If I saw somebody running fast, I would try to catch up with them.
Gotcha.
Whatever. It's just training.
Yeah.
Nobody's caring about that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just training out here. Like, everybody's doing their own thing. And with the group run, like I said, you can meet somebody, talk with them, go slower. Like those days, I go slower even than I normally would. And we all hang out and meet new people. And, you know, it's fun.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've all been in each other's shoes. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
We've all been at that getting started point. So it's not like you're doing something that we haven't been there and done. You know
that's
what I mean?
so good. Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to look at it like that. And nobody cares. Like I said, nobody cares what you do.
Yeah. They're just happy to see you out there.
Yeah, exactly. You're there. You're hanging out. You're having fun. It's not that serious. You know what I mean?
Unless you're Kyle at the line. Then you risk it all.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
speaking of risking it, so you have a goal to get back to Boston. Any other running goals that you have?
So I mentioned New York. Did I mention that?
Yes, that you didn't get into law.
Yeah. So I didn't get in. I qualified and I had 10 minutes buffer on there. I didn't get in. It was extremely hard this year, apparently. So I had to reshift my goals because originally it was going to be New York City. Then Boston. So I've shifted now, and I'm going Boston, hopefully, and then Chicago after that.
Okay.
So 2025 will be those two marathons. In the meantime, maybe in the fall, I'm really looking at some halves to maybe build on some speed.
Ooh, okay.
Like I said, I was originally going to go for a marathon just for more experience because I don't really have any experience. Other than, well, a lot can go wrong in those long distance races. I was going to go that route with New York, but I haven't really found anything that I was really super excited about. And I don't really want to spend a ton of money traveling.
Yeah.
Unless it's some of the big ones, you know. I guess.
Sure.
This is the theme, I guess. Well, we are going on a vacation.
Right.
It just so happens to be a race. Yeah. You guys can hang out and eat whatever you want. When I'm done, then maybe I can do that. But yeah, so those are the two big ones, and I'm looking at some halves. Like I said, maybe the one in Pensacola. There's one in Pensacola in October, or there's like that North Shore one I was looking at. That one looks cool. Yeah, that one, or maybe even Mississippi, the half. Maybe two of them. I'm thinking about maybe one in October-ish, and maybe one in December, or maybe January.
Ooh, if you do January, you could do Louisiana half.
Yeah, I thought about that too, because that was when I was choosing marathons. I was looking at that one pretty hard.
Yeah.
But the reason why I stuck with Biloxi was because I didn't have to train through Christmas and stuff like that.
Okay.
I guess it's maybe a little selfish or whatever, but I was like, No, I don't want to be, because it's hard. Sometimes it's hard.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Doing those, because there's, like with the marathon, there's lots of long runs. It's not just go out there for 30 minutes. Most of them are long and hard, and it's a lot of time. So I feel like it would have been easier for the holidays.
I see.
That's not the only reason, but that is one of the main reasons. Because I was like, okay, yeah, and then I'll have a couple of weeks right there towards the end of the year where I can just relax and do easy runs and whatever, get back in shape, and then start again at the fresh year.
There you go. I like it. Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe some halves is what I'm looking at. See what I can do.
Okay.
Maybe.
Do you have a mantra? Because you've talked a lot about when things get hard and the mental aspect of it. So is there something that you tell yourself?
So I have a few, I guess. There's a lot of the ones that a lot of people use too that you hear that are really good too. I use those as well, but as far as that kind of go with me that I've used. So there's one that I use not necessarily just in running, but I've thought about in life, and it's one word: swim. So it has nothing to do with swimming, really.
Okay.
But there was a song by a band called Jack's Mannequin back in the day, 2008, something like that. And it was called Swim. And it's basically just keep your head above, swim, and I'm not giving in, stuff like that. So it's just keep going, fight. So I use that one a lot just generally in life. Just keep going, because life's going to get tough. Racing's going to get tough. Everything's going to get tough. That's what you do in those moments. Yeah. And it's just like, just keep your head above, swim. Anyway, most people probably won't know that, but that's one I use just in life. I just use it. I don't really tell anybody about it until now, I guess. Yeah. But I use that one. And then, of course, there was another one, too, that I used a lot, especially when it gets real tough. Before I did the marathon, I was always scared of, oh, man, that wall. Am I going to hit the wall? And one of my buddies, Tony, he was like, you don't have to hit the wall. And I was like, wow, I never even thought about that. Obviously, you don't have to hit it. Meaning, you've trained for this. You're prepared. You've done the work. What is it, the haze in the barn? There's different words for that. I've done all the work. I don't have to hit that wall. I've prepared for this. I've earned this right to suffer, I guess. I've earned it. And plus, if you know, if it feels good, if it's easy, you're not doing it right. You're not doing it right. Because it's going to be hard. Everything's going to be hard. Whether it's a 5K and you're trying to break 20 minutes, or if it's a 5K and you're trying to break 17 minutes, you're still putting out the same effort. It's just you have more training behind you and you're going faster. Yeah. But you're still putting out the same amount of effort, and it still feels the same because you're giving it your all. So I just try to remind myself, you knew what you're getting into, you signed up for this. Yeah. You got it. Stuff like that. But really the big one is swim. You don't have to hit the wall. You don't have to hit the wall. You don't have to. And then remind myself too, when it gets tough, everyone that you've told this goal to, or that's going to be there supporting you at the race, you don't want to let them down. They're there for you. They expect you to follow through, whether they don't care whether you follow through or not, obviously. Yeah, right, yeah. But I like to remind yourself, hey, there's people here for you. You got to do everything you can. You can't give up. You got to go. So nothing crazy again. Pretty basic, I guess. I like them. I think they're great. But those are some big ones for me. Let's talk about mileage. What is your favorite mileage to run? So whether it's a training run or whether it's a race day, you're like, ooh, I get to go run this today. Yeah, okay. So I'm in the boat right now where on a training run, I like to run a good hour. At least, okay. Yeah. Usually. And that just makes it so I can hit my weekly mileage. It's easier to hit my weekly mileage. Okay. So I like to go about a little over 8 to 10 miles every time I run. Okay. And I've just gradually gotten to that point, and that's what feels good to me, because not that I won't run the shorter distance and stuff like that, but I like the longer ones because it keeps me in shape, I guess. I'm ready for a lot of things. And it keeps me healthy, I think, too, because I'm ready for those marathon blocks or whatever. I've already have this base, this huge base, so it won't be that hard, or my body will hold up. So I'm really just maintaining with something like that. So that's my training run, maybe the 8 to 10 miles. Okay. Maybe half. So maybe a half marathon would probably be the distance. I've only raced one. Okay. And I didn't really race it until the end. So I don't really know for sure, but I feel like that's the best I've probably felt. And I think it's long enough to where it takes a lot of endurance and speed, but you don't hit the wall or you don't feel like you're not like, I have to do this again. dry. You're not dying or anything.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to like that one the best.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do a lot of 10Ks and stuff like that. I like the 10K. I like them all, really, but I think I think half would probably be the one. Now, ask me again after I race a couple weeks. This could change because
like, I don't
every
like
day, like, I'm finding out something new.
Sure.
But yeah, it's maybe that. That's the one. That's the only thing I don't really have a great time at.
Okay.
Is maybe my half.
Okay.
And I think I have some minutes to shave off that, and hopefully I can. We'll see.
I'm sure you will. When you're not running, what fuels you? What are you passionate about?
If I'm not running, usually I'm just mainly going through the routines, hanging out with the family. My son's involved in lots of sports and stuff like that. He likes it all, so we jump from one thing to the other. So football, they're playing flag football right now. He's almost 7, so flag football, basketball, baseball. He likes it all. He's dabbled in the running too with us, with me. But I don't know if I'm not forcing him to do whatever. It's just whatever he wants to do. I don't really care. We did soccer for a little while, but I think he's had to choose because they overlap.
Yeah, sure, sure.
So I'm like, well, dude,
can't do it all.
You can't do it all. I wish you could, but, somebody's going to suffer. You can commit to 2 teams and then not show up for half the practices because you have other obligations. So, but yeah, so something like that, maybe that. I like going listening to music, obviously, is a big thing. I used to play a little bit of music back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was another version of Kyle back in the day.
Okay.
In the band. Yeah.
What instrument did you play?
Bass.
Oh,
yeah, we were in a band back in the day. Yeah.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Played Bayfest. Not
Okay.
gonna...
What? Okay.
No, we were on the Pepsi stage. We really were though. But I still love that. I still play a little music, like going to concerts, going out to eat. But mainly friends and family is the biggest thing.
Love that.
Yeah.
Any final words of wisdom, Kyle?
Final words of wisdom. So I kind of wrote down a few things with this. Maybe a quote that I like that I kind of use also. And I might be butchering this too. I don't know. I just jotted it down, so I'm going to look at it really quick. But it says, we all must suffer from one of 2 pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. And I use it as it is your choice. You can do whatever you want, but you can also accomplish so many things. So I use that when I don't want to do stuff, and I think about it, well, I might as well give it my all now, because I just turned 37, so as far as getting into this kind of late, the competitive side of it, my clock is ticking. You know what I mean?
Is it though, Kyle?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'm serious. You know what I mean?
I think you're doing rather well for your age. I think you're doing rather well at all.
But you know what I'm saying? I like pushing myself to see how far I can go. And what I mean by that is my clock. Eventually, there's going to be a spot where I might not be able to go any further.
Yeah.
I've kind of plateaued or I've hit where I'm going. And then I started going down the other way. So in this time, I want to see just how far I can push myself, how far I can go. Just really for personal reasons, not for anybody else, just myself. And so I use that. Like when I don't want to do it, like, hey, am I going to regret this? Just like you were talking about earlier, I can go out and run in the sun right now and sweat and feel terrible for an hour. Or in a couple of years, I can look back and be like, why did I give it up? What could have happened?
Yeah.
You know? So I try not to live my life like that. Something to think about.
Absolutely.
So I use that quote as far as motivation, and I guess you can make whatever you want with anything. So I guess that's really it. I could probably talk to you for hours.
Yeah, I've loved this. This has been great. Yeah,
I really could. But I guess you could really, like when I was thinking about my story too, is I think it's just still going. Absolutely. And I think everybody's is. So I didn't know if I had a story when you first asked me. And I was really nervous about it because I don't really have anything that is crazy. I mean, I do have a little bit of obviously some things, but I feel like I'm still trying to achieve these goals and trying to see what I can and can't do in life. So I guess it's still ongoing, and maybe check back later.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Kyle, thank you so much, my friend. This has been so fun.
Yeah.
And getting to learn more about you. And huge shout out to Dave for saying you got to get Kyle on the podcast because this has been so fun. And I'm looking forward to see what all you do, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's been great. You're doing great things for the running community. This is very cool. I'm sure you get a lot out of it too, learning about different people and connecting different people. And it's one big family, and now
Absolutely.
it's everybody's getting together now. And
Yeah.
you're a big reason for it. So,
well, thank you. Was that not just incredible and fun? Thank you, Kyle. Absolutely amazing. And congratulations on getting to go back to Boston. Like, super pumped for you and cannot wait to see what you do there. And as you said, Boston took a little piece from you, so you're going to go back to get that. That was so cool. Absolutely enjoyed that so much. And again, thank you for sharing your story. And as you reminded us all of that, you know, sometimes life takes precedent over running, and that's exactly what you did. And then you picked it back up and you said, here we are. And love that. And I love that you're a running family. That's just so cool. So super excited for you, Kyle, and cannot wait to cheer you on and all that you do. And guys, definitely get to go chat with Kyle. If you see him at a race, go be like, hey Kyle, love your story, love your mantra, all the things, because he really is a super cool dude. So thank you again, Kyle, so much for your story and for being the human that you are. And again, thank you to our Patreon family members. I absolutely love and adore each and every one of you. And thank you so much for believing in Runner's Story. And I can't even begin to describe how much you guys mean to us. So thank you so much for being who you are and believing in us. You guys are absolutely incredible. And guys, you can join the Patreon family as well. You can go to our website at runnerstory.com and check that out. And we've highlighted our Patreon as fueling this podcast this month, and so they make it possible every month to keep us going. But we really want to give them a special shout out this month, so really excited. And they're some of my dearest friends, and some of them I've gotten to know because of them joining the Patreon community, and so I love that. I'm so extremely grateful. So guys, like, share, comment, and make sure you tell Kyle, hey man, cool story. So fun. And definitely get stories out there, because every story needs to be heard. They're absolutely incredible and we love them. So make sure you like, share, and comment. And Marcel, thank you so much for giving us such a safe place to be able to record, for believing in the running community, believing in the run stories, believing that hitting the pavement has purpose. And we thank you so much for that. And to Gaillard Tech Services, he does a phenomenal job of making sure that our podcasts go out, and he keeps up with our website. He's always coming up with new ideas. Definitely, guys, check him out to update your current one, or if you need a brand new one, he can also do that as well. He absolutely loves building websites. So he is passionate about running community and passionate about websites. So thank you to Gaillard Tech Services. You guys can find him online as well, or also reach out to him on social media. He is the GOAT of websites. So thanks, Greg. All right, guys, go hit the pavement and go run your story, because every story needs to be heard.